It has taken long enough, but finally, someone has come out with a 22 Creedmoor that's affordable. So thank you, Ruger, for coming out with the 22 Creedmoor and a price point that most of us find more tolerable. Right now, you can buy this 22 Creedmoor from Ruger anywhere between $500 and $600. Really, $550 is about the going rate. Prices will probably change because Ruger doesn't even have this really on the website. It comes in two models. There's this one, has the silver barrel, has some textured stock, and they also make one that has more of a gold barrel. I don't have one, but here's another rifle. It's closer to that color from what the website shows. Unfortunately, the black barrel one, they don't make it in 22 Creedmoor yet, as far as I can tell. They might pretty soon. I haven't actually seen anything that says they will, because at the time of this filming, Ruger's website is not accurate and not up to date whatsoever. So, if you watched one of my previous videos, you know I actually built a 22 Creedmoor out of a Howa 1500 with a custom barrel, which wasn't cheap. We went out to the range and shot it. And also there's certain websites that have Creedmoor in their URL that also sell these rifles in this caliber, but they cost $2,000 and up. So the question today is, did Ruger finally make a budget-friendly 22 Creedmoor that shoots accurately? Well, let's find out. So the bolt comes separate. If you press this button on the side, it allows you to slide in your bolt. Ruger has what they call a triple safety. So all the way forward where you can see the red is fire if you pull the trigger. All the way back is safe where the bolt won't come up and you can't pull the trigger. But then they have this middle safety position where the trigger won't fire, but you can actually cycle the bolt. So that's kind of cool. It's not something other manufacturers do. So before we take this to the range though, there's a couple things I want to show you. I want to talk about trigger pull and measure it, and I want to talk about barrel length, and I want to talk about thread size on there. Now online they advertise this as a 22-inch long barrel, so I got a measuring tape here, and let's actually see. If we measure from where the round would be chambered to the end of the barrel here, you're really only at 20.5 inches. And honestly, by the time you take off the muzzle brake, yeah, I flip this around for you. We'll start here so it's easier to see. The next thing I want to bring your attention to is currently they are advertising the wrong thread size on their website because this is such a new release from Ruger. The actual size of this is 1/2 by 28, which is AR thread size. And I know this because I have some AR threaded stuff I put on the end earlier. So I just want you to be aware this is 1/2 by 28. At some point they might update the website and it might be correct, so I don't want to say what the size is now in case somebody watches this video in the future. So just be aware, 1/2 by 28 threads on the end, which is very convenient for the AR people. So the next thing I want to show you is the adjustable trigger pull. So right now this is factory out of the box. I have not adjusted it. We're going to see what the factory trigger pull is using this gauge. Just under 5 pounds. We'll go ahead and do that one more time. That time it was just under 4 pounds. These factory triggers aren't always the most accurate. So let's do it a third time. And that time it looks like about 4.5 pounds. So out of the box, they usually have them stiffer than they can be adjusted to. They can usually be adjusted down some. So now we're going to go ahead and adjust this trigger. Unfortunately, the adjustment, you need a hex wrench. You need to go in from this angle, but you need to be behind where this is. So you actually can't adjust it without removing this part here. So I'm going to go ahead and find some Allen wrenches, and I'm going to take this out right here so we can get to the trigger adjustment mechanism. I found an Allen wrench. This is a 3/16 hex head Allen wrench. Fits right in there, unscrews this one. Unfortunately, the other bolt is in there vertically behind the mechanism that locks in your magazine. And I'm not really a fan of this design by Ruger. I guess once you get your trigger set, it's not a big deal. But if you can see, I can't quite get the wrench vertical. So I'm going to have to get a little punch, and I'm going to have to punch out the magazine release so I can get to the vertical bolt action screw here and take it out, separate the barrel from the stock. Now, I've heard that there's supposed to be like a tool that comes with it that's the right size punch for that. Just looking through the box, I didn't see it. I could have missed it. So I'm going to find my own because I can't find one in the box to actually take this out. I found a little punch. That's just a roll pin I was able to tap out. Keep in mind there's this spring right here. So when you tap that out, you just want to make sure that spring doesn't go flying. Now this is out. Now we can get to the other vertical action screw right here, which if they designed it slightly different, we could have got to the whole time. Well, let me go ahead and take that out. I went ahead, I loosened both screws now. Nothing like having a brand new rifle you haven't even shot and taking it apart before you shoot the first round out of it. So now we can separate the stock from the barrel. And just one more time, just to test the trigger poundage before we adjust it. Once again, just over 4.5. So now that you got this apart, how do you adjust this trigger pull? You do that by this hex head right here in front, which is 3/32. I didn't find any Allen keys in the box that it came with. Again, maybe I just didn't dig, or maybe they're not there. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm using my own. This is 3/32. Basically, counterclockwise, takes pressure off of this spring that runs this way because it's backing this Allen screw out. So the more counterclockwise I turn this, the more the Allen screw backs out, and the more spring pressure is released from in here. Now, don't worry about taking this out too far. The spring itself cannot fit through this hole. So really you can back this all the way off. The spring is going to hit here, and that's just going to be your minimum no matter how much you keep on screwing this. So I'm going to actually unscrew this to the minimum, and then we're going to test what the minimum poundage this thing will get down to on the stock spring. As you can see, I actually took the screw completely out of the front. The spring stays in there, so this is the minimum it's going to let you adjust it to. Go ahead and put the gauge on there. Now it's breaking over just over 4 pounds. Not really the 2.5 that were advertised. We'll do it again just for consistency. Just under 4 pounds that time, again, not the 2.5 that was advertised. Let's say hypothetically you wanted to adjust it below that. Hypothetically, there's these little C-clips right here. You could hypothetically take that C-clip out, pull the trigger out. There's a spring that runs this way. You can get that spring out, actually slide it out the back, and you could cut a little bit off of it. Now I'm not going to show you that, but you can use your imagination. Now if a person was to do that, they might find that 1.5 to 1 3/4 coils removed resulted in approximately 2.5 to 3 pounds of trigger pull. Now you want to keep in mind these factory triggers are not exactly precise pull to pull, so you're not going to get a crisp 2.5 breakover every single time. Honestly, there's about a ½ pound fluctuation. See there, that time it's about 2 3/4. But now that's our new minimum, 2 3/4. So we can put this back in. If we wanted to actually increase the trigger pull, we could screw this in, compress the spring more. It's up to you how low you go with it. 2.5 pounds is usually considered as low as you want to go safely, knowing that these triggers are not exactly precise. I'm not going to push it more than this. Again, that's just under 3 pounds. So you were never going to get your 2.5 pounds to 5 pounds adjustable that they advertise from the factory. So that's kind of 3 things so far we've found. 1, the advertised trigger pull is not achievable from the factory. The barrel length is shorter than the 22 inches they advertise unless you are really generous. And the thread size on the end of the barrel is 1/2 by 28. So if any of this so far has been informational to you, do me a favor, like and subscribe, leave a comment, share this video. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put all this back together. I don't think you want to see it on camera, so let's just like that, it's back together. Now we're getting to the moment I know you want to see. How does this budget rifle 22 Creedmoor shoot? Because we just saved $1,500 plus buying this thing versus probably anything else on the market. Maybe even more if you buy some really fancy 22 Creedmoors from a certain site that has that in their name and URL. So we're going to go out to the range next. Well, actually, I'm going to mount a scope on it, but I don't think you need to see that. It's going to be the same Athlon scope I used on the 22 Creedmoor Howa 1500 build I did. Going to mount that. So the next thing you're going to see is we're going to be out at the range. And I have same ammunition I used last time, which is the 80 grain Creedmoor match from Hornady. But since then, they've also come out with a 69 grain. So after I get it sighted in, maybe we'll shoot some shots also with this and see what the drop is or if there's a big difference between the two. So out to the range. The range is 400 yards long. Got a target set up every 100 yards. Get it sighted in. Then I'll probably go from there. See how accurate it is with 3 shots, 4 shots, 5 shots. See if it shoots one MOA or all over the place. Honestly, at this point, I don't know, but we're going to find out. To the range. Okay, we're out here at the range. It's 400 yards long, but I'm going to start out at 25 yards just to get it sighted in. The magazine in this thing only holds 3 rounds. And using an Athlon 8x34x56 scope, which is the same one I used on the other Creedmoor. So I'm going to go ahead and get it sighted in, see what we can do. Okay, so that one was 8 to 10 inches low, but left to right it was pretty much on point. So that's actually very convenient. All right, it's close enough left and right. I'm going to go ahead and move on here out to 100. So that's up and to the right, but I'm going to actually keep aiming at the same spot without adjusting the scope and see if it patterns good. About 1.5 inches off there. Third shot was right on top of the second one. Or excuse me, third shot was right on top of the first one, so let's go look. Here we are at the 100-yard target. So this was the 4th shot ever out of the gun, the 5th shot, and the 6th shot ever out of the gun. I wasn't adjusting the sights. I still need to sight it in more. I was just aiming for there consistently to see over here where it'd be. That's just over 1 inch. And again, the barrel's not even broke in. That's only 6 shots. So let me clean the barrel. Let me move it to the left some more. And then we'll go out there. All right, at the moment it is 50 degrees. It is starting to drizzle and the sun is going down. So gonna get into some 200-yard shots, see what happens. About a 4 o'clock hit, 1.5 inches. It's not bad. See how much more we can do. 200 yards. It's about 1 o'clock, same distance from the circle. Third one. That one was in the circle. Let me go down there real quick and show you. So this is the 200-yard target. 3 shots. Did not adjust the sights. I mean, that's 1 MOA right there. And really, we're at 200 yards, so we shouldn't expect 1 MOA between those two. That one's going to be outside of it a little bit. Again, I haven't even used but a half a box of rounds so far. I'm going to adjust it just a little bit to the left. Put up a target at 300 and move on. All right, the rain is starting to come down a little more. The only thing I've done between 200 and 300 is I adjusted it left. I did not adjust the vertical whatsoever. I'm not going to adjust for the vertical. I'm going to put it in the crosshairs, not going to adjust the notch down or anything. That way you can see the drop between 200 and 300, or the lack of drop, really, if it turns out to be. So, same up and down, crosshairs on the dot, moving from 200 out to 300. About 1.25 inches within the last one. All right, let's go look at that. All right, this is going from 200 to 300. So look how close this is. This is 300 yards. That's 1 inch apart. That's 1.25 inches at most. You also get to see, here's the drop, because I was aiming with the crosshairs, no adjustment of any kind, other than I moved it left, clearly, a little too much, but no up and down adjustment. So from 200 yards, 300 yards, there's your drop. I would say that's less than 6 inches. All right, I want to do one more thing. I want to shoot these 69 grain Creedmoors and see how they vary compared to the 80 grain I was shooting. So we have 3 holes of 80 grain pretty close together at 300 yards. I think that's about the sweet spot of not too much shooter air, and yet you still get some drop. So I'm going to shoot 3 rounds of this 69 grain, and then we'll see how it compares to the 80 if it patterns different. 69 grain. 3 to 69 grain. Let's go check it out at 300 yards. Okay, I did not adjust the vertical at all, put the crosshairs in the same spot. There was a click left or right. So, these 3 are the original 80 grains. These 3 are the 69 grains. I mean, yeah, they're a little farther apart, but again, this is user shooter air at this point at 300 yards. So they don't seem to drop quite as much. Do with that information what you will. I hope you found that helpful. I hope you found this whole video helpful. Do me a favor, like and subscribe if you did. So I am still on the first box of shells. This will be shot 17, 18, and 19. At this point, 400 yards is just human air at this point. And the crosshairs are taking up a good chunk of the target. Any slight little movement I do, it's human air at this point, but I'm going to throw 3 down range and see what we can do. All right, let's go down there. Let's hope I hit the target. And we're walking, and we're walking, and we're hoping we hit a target. Good news is we did hit the target. We hit the target all 3 times, actually. So we hit it there, we hit it there, and we hit it there. Now, this is 400 yards. I held my cell phone up to this, which is 6 inches plus, and cell phone came there. So this is actually less than 6 inches. Let me hold my cell phone up to this. This is 400 yards. So there you have it, a $550 Ruger 22 Creedmoor, 17, 18, and 19th shot through it. That's the group you got. A lot of that is, I mean, human air. When I'm looking through the crosshairs, it's this. You know, that's the one crosshair, and then the other crosshair is like this. So there's a lot of human air there. You can decide if you think for $550, that's a good, accurate rifle. For $550 compared to what a lot of these 22 Creedmoors are going for, $2,000, $2,500, I don't think you can really beat it. So that is the actual results with the Ruger 22 Creedmoor. Not a professional shooter per se. I just come out and did this video so you guys would hopefully give him some information, because I know this is a new firearm. That's the actual information. I'll let you decide if this $550 budget Creedmoor is a good deal or not. Appreciate you watching. Until next time.